All right, this is a business class. Let's make sure we're very clear on that right from the beginning. We're talking about business and we're talking about data analytics. Yeah, Python's in the title of the course, but we're really talking about data analytics. So, in order for us to be able to be data analysts, we have to have an understanding about how the data actually gets created. We got to watch and see what's happening, what occurs here. And so, I like doing this. This is just the way I talk about every business course, whether you're taking accounting, marketing, HR, finance. This is kind of standard fare that you get in any class that I teach. So when we think about a business, every business, every organization always starts with one thing. It always starts with a product or service. And this could be a not for profit organization or for profit organization. But it has some kind of an idea, it has some kind of product that it's interested in maturing, doing whatever it is that they want to do with it. So this product or service is generally owned by a person or by a group of persons. So what these people do, they want to establish certain types of organizational objectives for their product or service. Now, this might be a board of directors, it might be a partnership, it might be a sole proprietorship, lots of different ownership structures. But the product or service, which is owned, or the intellectual capital owned by someone or some group, they're going to establish objectives. And they'll likely hire people, unless they're doing it themselves, they'll likely hire people to execute on these objectives. So for every product or service, there are objectives. And there are four basic objectives when we think about a business. There are financial objectives. There are customer objectives. There are employee objectives. And there are general societal objectives, call it social responsibility, being a good citizen within whatever jurisdiction or whatever area you are setting up this product or service. It might be a country, it might be a state, a city, a town, the world, right? It depends on what your reach is. So I loosely call this social responsibility. And that could be where you don't plan to pollute the water. That would be a good socially responsible thing to avoid. So each of these objectives, right? And there may be sub-objectives here. In financial, if you're a financial person, you might be thinking about different kinds of financial constructs. So you might think here, well, profitability. You might look at leverage, liquidity, asset utilization. Those would be some financial sub-objectives that I might establish. Under customer, we want to look at maybe customer retention rates. We want to look at market penetration. We want to evaluate longevity of customers, right? There may be a variety of different measures that we might be able to gather on our customer data. For employee data, we want to look at maybe turnover. We want to look at our price per person relative to what the market would charge. Are we paying too much? Are we paying too little? If we're paying too little and we have a low turnover rate, that means that we're doing something well. Our employees like working here. If we're paying too much and there's a huge turnover rate, not only are we paying too much, but we're also having to constantly churn. So we may have employee or employment data for our company that we might be interested in evaluating. Maybe we've got too few people working shifts where there should be more people and causing less stress. And social responsibility, we may end up doing some questionnaires, interacting with the areas that we do business, attempting to measure how we are viewed in the broader areas that we work. Maybe we are paying attention to what folks are saying about us on social media. And that might be employees saying stuff or customers saying stuff, or just people who are not customers or employees saying things. So we might look at certain data and what people are saying or what other organizations are saying about us. So we establish these different objectives, and what we ultimately want to do is we want to gather data on these objectives. Well, first of all, how do you achieve these objectives? Right? That's the next big thing to kind of figure out. What are the things you got to do to put in place to achieve these particular objectives?